Hey there, are you looking for effective strategies to maximize your growth, minimize your tax, and possibly retire earlier? Well, if you are, welcome to this video, and I hope you are going to find value informations to help you retire earlier. So let's take a look at different types of incomes because depending on what type of incomes you have, that matters, right? So the first income we look at is the earned income. I think most people are very familiar with this. This is your income, your W income from your job, right? This is where we're trading our time for money. And unfortunately, this is the income where you are going to have to pay Uncle Sam first. You don't get a say in it, they automatically take it out from your paycheck. And then whatever's left of it, that's what you get to live on. Okay, it is high risk and it is the highest tax. And then you have passive income. This is income that you earn with minimal ongoing effort or active involvement, like real estate or businesses. You do get a lower tax rate than the earned income. And the next one is their portfolio income. So this is passive income from your assets like your stocks, your bonds, your interest, and your dividends. Right here, you pay lower tax than the earned income. You get to pay, the short-term or long-term capital gain tax. Now, the risk is tied to the market conditions. And then you have the tax deferred income. This is from your retirement accounts, like your 401ks, your traditional IRAs, your TSP if you are in the military, and then your annuity. Okay, the annuity is an insurance product, so it has a safety net. So your money here grows tax deferred, but you do have to pay income and capital gain tax later on at your retirement age, right? And sorry to say, future income tax and future capital gain tax are most likely going to be higher than what they are right now. And they are subject to market crashes, which happens every 3.8 years, except for the annuity, because the annuity is an insurance product. So it has a safety net. It has a 0% floor, meaning that if the market crashes 50%, your money is still intact, okay, compared to the other ones. And then I think our favorite one would be the tax-free income. So what is this? So this is income from your Roth IRA, right? Your Roth IRA, you've already used tax money to invest. So this one grows tax-free, but unfortunately it is subject to market crashes, right? And then the other vehicle is the insurance products like an IUL. This one grows tax deferred and it is tax free distribution if you take it out correctly. All right, so then you are asking, what is this high cash IUL policies, right? An IUL is an index universal life insurance policy. So basically, what you're doing is you are buying a contract with an insurance company for a certain death benefit. And depending on your age, your health, and your sex, that will determine your monthly premium for that amount you are buying. Now, it is very flexible. So then you have the minimum payment, the target payment, or the maximum payment, right? So depending on the strategies that you're going to use. Now, of course, if you are just starting out, you may want to just start out at a minimum, and then later on, when your financial situation changes, you can, pay at a target, or you overfund the policy, what we call maximum. This is where you're going to allow your cash accumulation to really supercharge, right? So, what are you getting for this monthly premium? You're going to get protection in case of death because it is an insurance policy. Second, you're going to get protection in case of illnesses. I'll go into more in the later slides. And then most important of all is that your money is invested in the index funds like the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 has 500 top 500 companies in the US, right? So historically, for the past 70 years, it has been averaging about 10%. So some year it's going to go up, it's going to go down, but there's 500 different companies, so you're going to have an average. So that's really good, right? 10-12% a year is really good, especially it's passive, you're not doing anything. All right, so why do you want to put this in an IUL? Well, first of all, because you want that growth to be protected. And every insurance product has what we call a floor, a 0% floor, meaning that no matter what happens in the market, if it crashes, your money is intact, it's protected, right? It's not going to lose 50-60% when the market tanks. No. So the worst that it could happen is your money does not grow. And then when the market swings back up again, then it starts rebuilding again. And then second is, of course, you want, to make sure, you want to ensure that you have enough money to sustain a good future lifestyle. You want to be able to retire with dignity, right? And then thirdly, you want to keep all your money. You worked hard for it. You don't want to be giving it up, to the government. So you want to keep all your money. And then you want to be able to retire early and retire well. Okay, what good is your money if you're all broken and sick and not healthy and can't do anything? Right? So here you have an ability to retire earlier depending on how aggressive you are in the investing. And then lastly, but not the least important, of course, you want to be able to leave a legacy to your kids, right? You want to be able to transfer your wealth to the next generations tax free. All right, so let's take a look at some strategies. Okay, so it's going to differ a little bit depending on, how old or how young you are. And the younger you start, the better because now you have more time for your money to work for you. So if you are 20 years old, if you're in your 20s, consider yourself lucky, right? So now you're going to ask yourself, do you want higher death benefit or do you want higher cash accumulation? Now, if you're 20-year old, you couldn't care less about death, right? I mean, you're not thinking about death. You're thinking about living a good life. So obviously, you want to go for the cash accumulation. So, I mean, at 20 years old, you probably don't have a whole lot either, right? So what you want to do is you can buy $100,000 death benefit and then you pay the maximum on it, which is about $254 if you're in good health. And assuming that it's a 9.19% a year, right? I just mentioned that the S&P 500 has been averaging about 10-12% in the last 70 years. So this is not too far reach, okay? So as you can see, you now hit your first million when you are in your what is that? 60. Okay. Um, Not too bad. Okay. And then at 65, you are now at $1.7 million. And then 70 years old you have 2.7 millions. 75 you got $4.3 million. So what you want this policy for is really for long term. Okay, so when you get older, I mean, if something happens to you and you can't take care of yourself, right? Who's going to take care of you? Well, you're going to have to pay somebody to do that. So, and then also supplementary income. I mean, we all know that Social Security money is not going to be enough, right? And then if we're lucky, 20, 30, 40 years from now, if there is going to be Social Security money left. So here, I mean, you got $2 to $4,000, right? I mean, $2 to $4 million right here. Are you going to worry about if you're going to have enough income, or how you going to, pay somebody to take care of you? Absolutely not. That's a big chunk of money. And remember, this is all tax free, right? How is it tax free? Well, you're going to borrow against your policy. So if it's borrowed money, is that income? No. If it's not income, is it taxable? No. And this is based on the IRS IRC code section 7702A. So go read up on it, right? And so now, and then if you want early retirement, then you can buy a $200,000 death benefit and you max it out, right, at 497. And now you hit your first million at the age of 52. Not bad at all, right? And remember, passively, okay? I mean, you just, right, you apply, you set it up, you get approved, and then now every month it's taken out of your bank account. You don't even know it. You don't even miss it, right? And now by the age of 52, you hit your first million. 60, are now at 2 million. 65, you're at 3.4. And by the time you're 70, you're at $5.5 million. So, and remember, this cash value is yours. It's like you are your own bank. You have access to this anytime you want. So, for example, let's say, when you're in your 40s and you have about, right, 295,000, and you need, let's say you want to borrow, let's say $200,000 out, okay, to go buy an investment property, to, I don't know, do whatever you want, fund your business, right? You can, because it's your money, and you don't have to qualify for it, right? You simply just put in a request, and then within 3 to 5 business days, bam, the money is in your account. Okay. And the beauty of this is it's not income, so it doesn't affect your Social Security, right? And the beauty of this is, if you don't want to pay it back, you don't have to, right? Now, if your goal is to accumulate as much cash as possible, then absolutely you want to pay it back. Because if you don't pay it back, then the insurance company is just going to subtract off the money that you borrowed, from the cash value, and then whatever is left, then it compounds based on that. Okay. So if your goal is to accumulate cash, then I highly recommend that, yes, you do it, pay it back, and you don't pay the whole entire thing back in lump sum, right? So they have a monthly minimum payment, back, right? So then let's just say you're paying a 7% on your loan, but you're earning 9.19%. So you're in the positive. So basically now your cash accumulation is compound based on the total amount of what you have. Okay, in this example, it was 295,000, even though you took 200,000 out of it, right? Because you're borrowing, and then you're paying monthly little by little. So now your money is growing faster because it's based on the larger amount. How fantastic is that? Okay. And then, same thing here, right? So like, are you gonna worried about when you get older, whether or not you're gonna have enough money? No, because you have $5.5 million at the age of 70, right? Are you going to worry if something happens to you and you can't take care of yourself? No, because you absolutely have enough money to hire somebody to take care of you. right? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have a plan in place for long-term care, right? What happens if they get sick, but they're not dead, but they can't work? Who's going to take care of them? Are they going to burden their kids with this? No, you want to have a plan in place so that, God forbid, if it does happen, right? I mean, even if you don't get sick, but you get older, you're going to need somebody to care for you. Now, long term care right now, okay, in the state of California, Southern California is where I live, for a assisted living facility, it costs $6,500 a month. That's an assisted living facility, not the hospice. The hospice is, $10 to $12,000 a month. So it's expensive already right now. Imagine in 20, 30, 40 years from now. All right. And then if you really, really want to supercharge, if you want cash and protection, then what you could do is you could do $1 million and then do a target. You could do a start out with the target, right? And now you hit your first million at 53 years old. Now, when your financial situation changes and you have more money, then what you can do is you can max it out now, right? You could hit your first million in your early 40s, right? So then, I mean, it really gives you the flexibility. So you can, let's say you want to pay $1,000 instead of 497. Let's say you wanted to pay, 1,500 or $2,000. You have the ability to do that, right? Because the maximum for $1 million, I believe, is like around $3,000. So then you can max it out. We call it overfunding it, which allows you now, right, to hit your first million at, I mean, age probably like 42, 43. Okay, so if you are now in your 30s, it's, now it's going to be, it's slightly higher than if you were in your 20s. Okay, so same strategy, right? You're going to buy like $100,000 death benefit and you're going to max it out. Okay, so now you're going to be paying $342, assuming you're in good health. Okay, that's why you want to buy early while you're in good health. So now you're going to hit your first million at the age of, what is that, 60 years old. No, 65, I think. Yeah, 65. No, 67. I'm sorry, this thing is blocking my views. 67. Okay, you hit your first million. And then at 75, you're at almost at 1.4. And then at 80 years old, you're at 3.5. And you want to use this again for long term. Okay, for when you need long term care, for supplement income, right? And then if you want cash and protection, then you could do either the $1 million. Okay. Oh no, actually, this is 500,000. This is a mistake. So it's a $500,000 death benefit, but you do a target amount. So now you're going to be paying 673, and now you're going to hit your first million at the age of 61 years old. Okay. At 65, you at 1.5. At 70, you're at 2.5. And at age of 75, you're at $4 million. So are you going to worry, who's going to take care of you when you get older? How you're going to, right, have enough money at your old age? No, absolutely not. You have a lot of money. Okay. So you're absolutely not going to worry. If then, let's say you want, I don't know, to, hit your first million at the age of 51, then you can max this out, right? You can max fund a $500,000 death benefit. Okay, so now you're paying 1573 and you hit your first million at 51 years old. Okay, you hit your 2.7 million at the age of 60. and you now have 4.5 at 65, 7.3 at 70, and 11.8 millions at 75. So this allows you now to really sustain a beautiful lifestyle at an earlier age, and you have plenty enough to pass it on to your, to pass on your legacy to your loved ones, right? No, actually, this $1 million is right, because the target is 673. But then if you want to max it out, right, then I think it's like $2,000-3,000, right? So here it gives you the flexibility to either pay minimum, target, or maximum, right? Depending what you want to do. So if you do end up maxing this out, then it pushes, you're going to hit your first million, in your like late 40s, late 40s, early 50s, right? Now, if you are 40 years old, it's going to take a little bit more money, okay, for you to hit your first million, right? So here you could start out with you could buy $100,000 death benefit, max it out. I mean, maxing it is only $348. I mean, that should be very, very doable. Okay. And you will hit your first million at the age of 70, what is that, 76, 75? Okay. I can't see because this thing is blocking my view. 76 years old, you will hit your first million. So that's not bad. And then by the time you're 84, you got 2.1 million, right? And then wow, that's not bad. Okay. So like, again, I said, this is the strategy really for long term. Okay. You just, let it take it out of your account. And remember, right, these cash values, they're yours. So if you ever need it for anything, to buy a house, to fund a business, to go on vacations, to help your kids, you can borrow against this anytime. um, um, $500,000 death benefit, you do a target amount. Now you hit your first million at the age of 75. Okay. um, right, slightly better than this one. Now, but here, right, you have the option to max it out at 1,700 a month. So this is for an earlier retirement, because here, if you max it out, then you hit your first million at the age of 60. Okay, by the time you're 70, you're almost at $3 million. You hit 4.4 million at 74, 5.3 million at 76. I mean, 7.89 million at 80, and you at 12 million by the time you're 85. Remember, we are living longer and longer, right? So it's not out of the norm, right? 85 years old. I know plenty of people that are like 103, 105, 109, 97, 99. And right, so really, you don't want to leave it to chance, and outlive your money, because like I said, social security money may not be there for you, and even if it is, it's not gonna be enough, to sustain a good living for you. But hey, if you have $12 million, even $5 million, do you think now you can retire with dignity? Absolutely yes. Do you have to worry about what's going to happen to you in the future? Absolutely no. This gives you peace of mind. All right, so what about when you're in your 50s, right? I'm in my 50s right now. So, like, yeah, I do have to put more um, than if I, was to do in my 40s. Now, I do have a couple policies, small policies that I bought, right, several years ago, 10, 15 years ago. And, they're doing well. And I've taken out some cash when I needed it. I borrowed against it, right? So now I, I want to make sure that I have a couple of millions, stashed away. but I do now, right? So now if you $500,000 death benefit, you're going to pay a target amount of $1,000. Now, if this target is too much, then what you do is you pay a minimum amount. Okay. So here, yeah, unfortunately, now it's going to be 77-year old, right? To hit your first million. But hey, that's not too bad, you know? And then, right, now if you want like extra protections, you could also buy a $500,000 25-year term for an extra 238. Now the terms, like it's, like its name, after 25 years, that's it. There's no more, right? But the only reason why you want to buy this is if you have, if you want it for asset protection, like if you have a home, or you want it for income protection. Okay, so God forbid something happens to you, right? Where you have chronic illness, critical illness, terminal illness, or you have an accident, but you're not dead, right? So now, what are you going to do, right? So if you're sick and you can't work, what happens to your income? Well, you're not going to have income. So when that happens, you can accelerate up to 90% of that $500,000 and use it as income while you are still living. What we call insurance you don't have to die to use. Okay. Or if you want cash plus protection, you could do $1 million policy and then you pay target amount at $1,500, right? So now you're going to hit your first million at 67 years old. Not bad, right? And then by the time you're 80, you have $1.9 million. Now, if you really, really want to supercharge it, you're going to max it out. And so you're going to be now paying $4,500. That is a lot, right, for some people. But you have the ability to, let's say instead of paying 1,500, maybe let's say you do 2,000 or 2,500, right? So it's very flexible. But if you have the means to do it, you know what? Why not? Because this money grows tax free. So now you're going to hit your first million at the age of 62 years old. At 68, you got 2.1 million. At 71, you have 3. At 74, you have 4.1. At 76, you got 5.1. And then at 78, you're at $6.2 million. Right? So plenty of money for you to retire with dignity, plenty of money for you, to pass on to, the next generations, right? So, and if you are 60, then you're kind of late, but it's not impossible, right? It's just now you've got to adjust your death benefit. So here, for a $300,000 target, it would be $1,000 a month, right? And if you can't do, if this is too much, then what you do, you're going to lower the 300,000 to 200,000, right? Or to 150, and that's going to lower your target amount. I don't really recommend minimum payment, right? Because then the cash accumulation doesn't grow as fast. But it's there. So for instance, if it's, if money is tight that month, then you just pay the minimum amount to keep the policy, effective. Okay. So here you're going to hit your first million at the age of 80. And then, right, 85, you're going to have 1.7, 87, you're going to have 2.1. So, and then if you want like extra protections, then you could buy 25-year term for $500,000, paying $300 a month, right? So here, right, you're going to use it for when you are in retirement, right? So you have something to help you with long-term care and to help you with your cash, right? And remember, this is not considered income. So it does not affect your Social Security income at all. Okay. Versus like a Roth or a 401k, that is considered as income. So if you're in the high income, you can't touch Social Security because Social Security is for you got to be poor in order to qualify for it. Okay. $600,000 right now. You can pay a target amount of 2,500, or you could do a $500,000 and you max it out. Okay, at 3225. Now it allows you, right? It hits your first million at 75, and then in your 80s, right? You're at $2-3 million. Okay, so it really now gives you, a peace of mind knowing that you've put a plan in place, so where you're not going to live, and outlive your money. Okay. Now, like I said, here you have the flexibility to pay the minimum, to pay the target, and to pay the maximum. Okay. All right. So ask yourself this question. Would you take financial advice from billionaires or multimillionaires? I don't know about you, but I would. Okay, so according to the Millionaire Next Door studies and data from financial institutions, a significant portion of millionaires use high cash value life insurance, including IULs, to complement other investment like stocks, real estate, and retirement accounts. Also, financial advisors often recommend IUL policies to clients with higher incomes, right? And these policy allow for overfunding. Remember the max? Why? Because then it increases cash accumulations and it's tax free. Okay, so Walt Disney, Warren Buffett, Ray Kroc, wealth management firms are using IULs as one of their, financial vehicle. So if these high net worth in people are doing it, why wouldn't we want to employ the same, strategy as they are? Makes sense, right? So why are they doing this? Why are they using this as part of their overall financial strategy? Tax advantages, right? The money grows tax deferred. And then when you want to take it out, it's tax free if you take it out as a loan. And then you have the upside of the market without the downside, right? Because of the floor, zero minimum return in bad years. So, I mean, it's really protected. Also, right, estate planning and wealth transfer. So both the death benefit and the cash accumulations, I mean, right, God forbid it's time for you to go, it pass on to your children tax free, whoever you name it as a beneficiary. Okay. And then it's an added protections for living benefits. So God forbid if you're sick but you're not dead, or you're old and you can't take care of yourself, now you have that death benefit that you can accelerate. Okay. And then you have asset protections, right? So in some states, life insurance policies, including the cash value within the IULs, are protected from creditors and people that that want to sue you. Okay, it's protected. So it's not like they can sue you and force you to sell your life insurance. No, they can't. So it's a great asset protection. So what's your strategy, right? Do you have the right income right now? Because if you don't have the right income, then you can't really maximize, right? You're going to be paying taxes. Do you have the right entity to maximize your protection and minimize your taxes? And then do you have the right ownership, like a trust, right, to avoid probate and gift taxes? So let's really look at like how much do we really pay in taxes? Because if you don't know, I mean, you're going to be hurting. So federal income taxes is anywhere from 10 to 24% if you make if you make below 191,950, and then for single, right? And then if you're married, then it's a little bit higher than that. But if you're high income earners, that means you are making more than 191,951. It's going to be anywhere between 32 to 30% federal. State tax, right? So if you live in the state that has state tax, okay, you're going to be paying anywhere up to 12.33%, 12.3%. And then you have short-term capital gain tax and long-term capital gain tax. So short-term is 10 to 37. So that means you have an asset that you hold for less than a year. Okay. And then long-term is anywhere from 15 to 20%. And if you're high net worth, then it's another 3.8%. That's at the federal level. And then you have the state level. So if you're in California, that's an extra 1 to 13%. Okay. And then up to 10% if you live in New York. So other taxes, 6.2 for Social Security, 2.3 for Medicare. Self-employment is up to 12.4%, right? So if you have a business and you're not, you are a sole proprietor, right? You're going to be paying a self-employment tax. Local taxes is 3.8% if you live in New York. And then, you got property tax anywhere from 1 to 3%. And then you have sales tax up to 10%. So, check this out, right? If you live in California, the California combined tax, okay, is 56.45%. And that's only, right, federal, state, and Social Security, Medicare, not even counting the other taxes. 56.45%. That means that, you are the one that's working your tushy off, and then 56% of your money is given to the government. And if you live in New York, that's even worse, 60%, right, for high net worth. And if you're not a high net worth, you're still paying anywhere from, the 20 to 50%. Oh, ouch. That hurts. So ask yourself, right? Do you want to be in the tax me now, tax me later, or tax me never category? Like what I just showed you today, it's putting you in the tax me never bucket. That's an IUL. At the end of the day, we want to be able to keep what we've worked so hard for. And in order to do that, you have to plan your tomorrow today. Don't wait for tomorrow and do it tomorrow, because then it's too late. So thank you so much for watching this, and I hope this has given you information so that you can, go out and take some actions, right? Contact a qualified agent. At MoneyWise Financial Insurance and Services, we are qualified agents. So, yeah, you know what? Reach out to us. There's no obligations, right? We can help assess where you are and how we can help you with it. The contact numbers it's going to be in our in our link. So yeah, you know what, if you don't have a tax me never um, income, then you want to make sure that you find out about it. If it's if you don't reach out to us, reach out to someone else, and then make sure you plan your tomorrow today. Thank you guys. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button, and share this with somebody that you care about, so they too can get the information that's going to help them minimize their tax and maximize their their income and their growth. Thank you. Bye bye.